moments. While the Knicks believe their time is now, the Bulls aren't ready to let theirs come to an end. This rivalry that began 3 years ago culminates today. For 14 days, 3 simple words have defined this series. But hidden beneath the text lies the message. Only the strongest survives. Although time has stood still for the Knicks, Pat Riley was never mistaken for being motionless. He has sculpted together a gritty group of men who know that now could be their only time, because next year is a phrase that has become all too familiar. Familiarity with the word dynasty has guided the Bulls back. Phil Jackson has orchestrated this symphony of the unthinkable. Will the Bulls reach the crescendo of ultimate success, or will the sweet sounds of yesterday go silent? Whose dreams will be fulfilled today? Time is the only answer.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1994 NBA playoffs. Today, it's the Chicago Bulls versus the New York Knicks.
It is an emotionally charged capacity crowd at Madison Square Garden in New York, with so much at stake for the Knicks and the Bulls in the 7th and deciding game of the Eastern Conference Semifinal series, the winner advancing to face Indiana in the conference final. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with Matt Gukas. And Matt, for this New York Knicks franchise, this is their most significant game since they last won an NBA championship back in 1973. And Phil Jackson, who just loves to bother the Knicks with words, says the Knicks may be tight for today's game. We talked about that with both coaches.
I think everybody would probably be a little bit tight in the beginning.
I've seen it before happen to teams, you know, the beginning of the game, you know, trying to get shots in, you know, trying to make things happen for themselves, the crowd very anxious. And the end of the game, too, if it gets close, you know, things happening that have to be, you know, scattered and wild, and people having to step up and make things happen. Sometimes the home crowd or the court can react against you adversely if you're home team.
To me, it's a final game, a deciding game of a series. I'm just interested as to what time we play on Tuesday night. I don't know, is it 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock? I mean, you have to sort of keep it in that perspective, and if you do, I think you'll play a little more loose.
Today, the Knicks face the so-called heavy expectation of burden to win, mainly because this game is on their home floor. If that makes you tight, so be it. I thought that was the idea, to win as many games as possible during the regular season and take care of your home court in the playoffs. The Knicks are right on schedule. What do they have to do? Well, the Knicks have to do what they do better than any team in basketball. Play tough, aggressive defense and rebound. If they do it, they'll move on to the Eastern Conference Final.
And for the Chicago Bulls, the 7th game comes down to their superstar, Scottie Pippen, who certainly had himself an eventful series. Now, will it be the Scottie Pippen who took himself out with a migraine headache, or with 1.8 seconds remaining in the game earlier this series, or will it be the Scottie Pippen of 2 years ago who came through with that explosive triple-double to help the Bulls beat the Knicks in a Game 7?
Well, ever since Game 3, when Scottie Pippen refused to take part in the last play, his leadership has risen to a new level. He looks for every opportunity to bring his teammates together on and off the floor. And in Game 6, when he challenged Patrick Ewing with the defining dunk, it just might have been the crucial confidence builder for the Bulls to win this series.
Well, our Ahmad Rashad has spent time in both locker rooms to soak up the pregame atmosphere. Let's check in with Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Mark. First of all, there is no injury report. I think Charles Oakley showed yesterday that even if you are injured at this point in the season, you still have to play. Now, Phil Jackson had made the point that maybe the Knicks might be a little bit uptight. Well, the atmosphere in that locker room, you could not tell it by that, because this was a very loose New York Knicks team. It was more of a barbershop atmosphere. As a matter of fact, Charles Oakley was getting his haircut, his pregame haircut by Herb Williams when I walked in, and Charles told me that there is no secret. They realize they win, they keep playing. complain, they lose, they go home. Now, in the other locker room, it was a little bit different atmosphere. Very quiet, very comfortable, but very confident. I asked Scottie Pippen about that, and Scottie Pippen said that maybe it's because they have been in so many big games before and been very successful. Both teams ready to get going in Game 7. Marv?
All right, I'm on for Patrick Ewing, who has been held in check. It is a benchmark game. Can he rise to lead the Knicks past the Bulls? Back with the lineups in a moment.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Molson Ice from Canada, the land where ice was born. By Federal Express. For documents, packages, and freight worldwide, our most important package is yours. And by Chevrolet. One car company has won more NASCAR races over the last 10 years. Genuine Chevrolet.
On a beautiful 80-degree day here in New York City. We welcome you back to Madison Square Garden. Yes, the home team has won 17 straight Game 7s. That includes the victories yesterday by the Houston Rockets and the Utah Jazz to advance to the Western Final. The Bulls line up in this order. Pete Myers played very well against his former team on Friday night, and B.J. Armstrong on the backcourt. B.J. has had an outstanding series. Bill Cartwright, the center, and Horace Grant, who had an outstanding game on Friday, along with Scottie Pippen. That is the front line, and the Bulls are coached by a one-time member of the New York Knicks, Phil Jackson. In fact, on the roster of the Knicks 72-73 championship team. The Knicks with John Starks and Garrett Harper in the backcourt. Garrett is back at the point guard position. Greg Anthony, the starter in Game 6. Patrick Ewing at center. Charles Smith, who was invisible on Friday night in Game 6, up front with Charles Oakley. And this crowd continues to roar as we get set for the opening tip. Pat Riley with a 3-up and 2-down record in Game 7. The last time he's been involved in a Game 7 as a coach was 2 years ago, a loss to the Chicago Bulls. Joe Crawford, Jack Mack, Ed T. Rush, the officials, as Ewing slaps it too hard and it carries out of bounds.
All right, everybody just a little bit tight as Patrick clearly had that tip and overdid it as he smacked it too hard over the outstretched arm to Derek Harper.
So Pippen inbounds. Pete Myers, who got off to the quick start on Friday night, guarded by John Starks. Cartwright and Ewing in their usual battle here at the start. B.J. Armstrong, as the Bulls swing it around. Pippen cutting to the lane. Shot clock down to 6. Pippen over Smith. And the Bulls with a 2-0 lead.
Nice patience on the part of the Chicago Bulls and doing what they've done so well in this series. Spreading the floor, reversing the ball, putting the Knicks defense back on their heels.
Smith from deep. Charles Smith, who was very quiet. Only 1 for 6 Friday night. 3 points, 2 rebounds. That was it. The game is tied at 2.
You see the Knicks extending their defense. Smith putting good pressure on Pippen, even all the way in the backcourt. New York does not want to wait to the 4th quarter to turn it on.
And Pippen draws the foul. Ewing trying to help out. And Pippen gets the call.
Well, this is the problem when you get up in somebody's chest and face. Somebody like Scottie Pippen who can put it on the deck and drive it to the goal. Charles Smith just does not have that kind of lateral movement to stay with a guy like Pippen. And then when guys like Pippen or Armstrong or others get into the lane, Kukoc, they can create things for other people.
It is extraordinary how Scottie Pippen has turned it around at the foul line. That's a rare miss for Pippen. Grant, Pippen, and Armstrong have all raised their level. Now, B.J. Armstrong has been one of the better free throw shooters in the NBA, but Grant and Pippen have struggled during the regular season.
Scottie 32 for 33 coming into this Game 7.
Well, he misses on both. And that gets the crowd going. Derek Harper played by B.J. Armstrong. Harper making his return on Friday night after the 2-game suspension. Starks thought Smith would be cutting. Smith says, my fault.
Oh, New York totally out of it there, out of sync as Derek Harper called a movement play for New York. He had nobody in the left corner, gave up on the play, and they just started reversing the ball. Nobody in the right position.
The Knicks and Bulls tied at isolate Pippen against Smith. And Pippen came up short. Harper, who has been able to penetrate, dishes to Oakley. Rebounded by Cartwright. Armstrong on a pull-up. Yes, that's a 3 for B.J. Armstrong. The Bulls 5, the Knicks 2. Here's Starks trying to match. Not able to hit from downtown. 4 on 3 for Chicago. Armstrong with the spin and then a bad shot. The tip was missed and handled by Starks. Oakley went down in a collision with Myers. Starks was fouled, tripped up. Myers picks it up.
Well, both teams want to run as much as possible to take pressure off their half-court offense. Here's Starks trying to go right between Armstrong and Myers. No room there, but good call by the officials as it was not a charge. He did not bang into anybody, but they did create the contact. Both teams want their teams to get out and see if they can get as many easy baskets as possible.
The announcement on the public address, they have changed that three-point shot by Armstrong, as initially indicated, to a 2. The ruling that he stepped on the line. They collapse on Ewing, who was triple teamed, and the Bulls able to recover defensively. Oakley foul for the rare post-up move and then steals and hits. The game is tied at 4. Grant coming off a solid game on Friday night and did the job off the boards. He has been hitting the outside shot, and he was fouled by Ewing. That's a quick 2 on Patrick Ewing.
Well, Charles Oakley first trying to post up inside, threw up a jump hook. He is not comfortable in there, but he is very comfortable on the offensive boards. Actually, he just picked the pocket of Scottie Pippen. Charles Oakley was down out above the top of the key, and as Horace Grant tried to drive baseline on Ewing, reaches in and grabs a silly foul by Patrick.
Cartwright getting position. We will see Herb Williams check in a moment, replacing Patrick Ewing, who has picked up 2 early fouls. Charles Smith bottled up, and he will go to the line. The foul committed by Horace Grant. By the look at the shot by Armstrong, this was at first called a 3-point shot, and then the officials changed it to a 2.
Clearly both sets of toes of B.J. Armstrong right on that line. He is playing with so much confidence, shooting the ball from the perimeter. It's generally coming off a lot of staggered screens. That time he raised up from just at that line, shooting 51% from the field, scoring 18 a game. B.J. has been a major plus for the Bulls.
So Ewing sitting down after collecting his second. Luke Longley has replaced Bill Cartwright. Luke Longley had a good one on Friday night. The combination of Longley and Cartwright has really done the job on Patrick Ewing. No matter what the numbers, Ewing had 1 breakout period. That was back in game 3 in the 4th quarter. But he's been held in check. Oh, Pippen with a fake goal right at Herb Williams. Not quite the same effect as Friday night when he put one in the face of Patrick Ewing, but an early statement from Scottie Pippen, who has tied the game at 6. And a technical foul has just been called as Ewing and Oakley, rather Pippen and Oakley got involved, and apparently it's called on Pippen.
Well, Scottie Pippen coming up with another one of those monster dunks and running back with Charles Oakley. 2 guys who know each other very well, and it may have been some taunting and some talking by Scottie Pippen as Jack Madden, the lead official today, wanting to keep this thing under control, not wanting anything to get out of hand.
Starks hits the technical. Now Scottie Pippen has to be very careful. The second technical would mean an ejection as you look at Pippen in the face of Herb Williams, and now Pippen as he heads back to the other end involved with Charles Oakley.
Well, they could have got him both times against Williams, and now Oakley as they go again. It was playful, but the referees don't know that. It's best to keep your mouth shut and play.
Starks with the step. Knicks 7 and the Bulls 6. It is high drama here in the early moments. Pippen with the wall. Nice setup, and Myers is able to stop. The Bulls lead by 1.
I wonder if that's a set play. That thing on the left side where guys just go up and hammer the ball through.
4 minutes gone by. The pass from Williams. It counts, and the foul. Charles Smith off to a fast start. Hit from behind by Luke Longley.
Scottie Pippen once again getting by Charles Smith. He's just not able to put that kind of pressure. Scottie got himself in the air, did the 180 to find Myers, and good movement off the ball by Charles Smith as he goes up with authority, and that brings a loud cheer here at the Garden when he finishes plays like that.
The Knicks 10, and the Bulls 8. Grant at up high by Oakley. The chant of defense. Longley was about to set the pick. Armstrong double team. Here's Longley taking it to the hoop. And is called for a charging foul.
So much of the offense in this series has started with the centers, Cartwright and Longley, way out on the floor where they are just there to bring the center out. If they catch the ball, reverse it, not put the ball on the floor. Luke Longley just does not have that kind of athletic ability to try to get to the basket from that deep.
Phil Jackson has pulled Luke Longley, who committed his second. Bill Wennington has been spotted throughout the series. Checks in. Smith off to the fast start. Knicks with the ball and a 2-point lead. And a foul call on Grant. Grant leaning in for the steal is called for his second.
Horace Grant and Charles Smith banging. Grant already doing a good job pushing him out, and that was very, very soft there. And I can understand why Horace Grant did not understand that call. There's going to be a lot more physical play than that.
Oakley on a quick break. The Knicks 12, the Bulls 8. Pippen sets for the three. With Oakley. Charles Oakley. Rebounded by Scottie Pippen. Myers for Grant. And the whistle. Joe Crawford with the call. The basket counts. And a foul. So the Bulls are within 2. A timeout is being called. The foul picked up by Herb Williams.
Penetration by Myers, going to find Grant, who once again for the Bulls going in on the left side, just hammering right through Herb Williams.
Back at the Garden, early whistles by the officiating crew. 2 apiece already on Grant, Longley, and Ewing. Ewing sitting down early. We have seen a disparity in teams going to the foul line. No surprise, depending on where the game has been played. Game number 6, the Knicks and the Bulls. You can see the difference in terms of the foul calls. That game played in Chicago, and thus far 5-3. Chicago called for 5 fouls, and the Knicks for 3 here at the start. Horace Grant able to complete the 3-point play, and the Knicks with a 12-11 advantage. 6:35 remaining in this first quarter. Remaining the same following the timeout. And the tip by Oakley. Charles Oakley with 6 points. The Knicks lead by 3. Game 6 in Chicago. The Bulls outplayed and out-hustled the Knicks, coming up with a 93-79 victory to tie the series at 3. Williams with the rebound. Herb Williams has done a nice job for the Knicks in backing up Patrick Ewing. Smith. Rebounded by Myers.
Bulls talking in their last timeout to Scottie Pippen about being careful not to try to do too much. He's already taken 5 shots in this ballgame. They need his scoring, but they also need his playmaking, getting other players involved.
Williams with the intercept. Starks for 3. Ron Starks not hitting from downtown. Pippen changed his mind. He was about to pop with a good play, able to find Horace Grant.
It looked like Scottie was going to know as his eyes were up, but his peripheral vision picked out Horace Grant. You know, Herb Williams used to be a good shot blocker in his days in Indiana and in Dallas, but not so much anymore. In fact, in this whole series, not much shot blocking.
Phil Jackson hit with a technical foul. Well, Phil trying to get the message across early. Said something that was not appreciated. It is his first technical of the playoffs, and again, John Starks will shoot the tee. Earlier this first quarter, Scottie Pippen called for a taunting technical, getting involved with Charles Oakley.
A little hard to tell what Phil was complaining about, other than Horace Grant right now is talking to Jack Madden, and obviously on that last trip to the basket and dumped by Horace Grant, he may have felt he got hit on the play and no call.
There's Jack Madden pointing at Phil Jackson, calling the tee. 5 minutes remaining in this first quarter. The Knicks by 1. Harper. It's a forced shot, but it's kept alive by Oakley, and he pops. Rebounded by Wennington. Joe Crawford out at midcourt. Calling it on Charles Smith.
Trying to stop the potential Chicago Bull fast break. Knicks had been coming down and taking perimeter shots. That time, Derek Harper, before anything really got set up, the long three by John Starks when he had Charles Smith posted up against Myers. Knicks not very comfortable offensively yet.
Armstrong feeding Wennington. Picked off by Starks. Wennington poked it away. Harper for three. And back comes Pippen, lost the dribble momentarily, and then went off Starks. The loose ball fielded by Scott Williams, who just checked in. Three-point attempt by Armstrong. Comes back to Pippen. So a third opportunity for the Bulls. Wennington, it counts, and the foul. Nice feed from Pippen.
Well, Scotty will get the assist. He got a big assist from Charles Oakley as he whipped his arm around him to knock the ball loose. We're going to see some collision here as Scottie Pippen mishandles Herb Williams and Starks sandwich him, and actually incidental contact there. There's been a lot of leg whipping and tripping, not that time. The assist to Pippen, from Pippen to Wennington, but all pushed ahead by Charles Oakley from behind.
Herb Williams charged with the foul. Anthony Mason has come on now, replacing Charles Smith, who leads with 7 points. Bill Wennington has done a good job off the bench. The third center being used here by Phil Jackson. Wennington, a product of St. John's here in New York, gives the Bulls a 2-point lead by virtue of the three-point play. Just under 4 minutes to go in this first quarter. Harper took the bump. And now both teams are over the limit.
Smart play that time by Derek Harper as he was forced to the baseline, was shut off by Bill Wennington, had nowhere to go, nowhere to pass the ball, so he created the contact to get a couple of free throws. A lot of the Knicks are just launching a lot of shots as soon as they touch the ball. I think it has a lot to do with the adrenaline, not wanting to make mistakes or commit turnovers. They figure if they shoot the ball, they can't get in trouble, and in so doing, they're taking some poor percentage shots.
The Knicks 5 for 16 from the field. They have missed their last 5, while the Bulls have hit on 7 of 14. A game that they got underway with Patrick Ewing picking up the 2 early fouls. Played only 3 minutes and collected the 2. An early technical called on Scottie Pippen. Phil Jackson hit with one just a moment ago. The game is tied at 16. Armstrong and Myers now in the backcourt. Wennington with Pippen and Williams up front. Mason guarding Pippen. Usually we see Mason against Pippen early in the game. What a play by Oakley. Off the steal, he went behind the back for Mason. And Mason is cut off by Scott Williams. Too much dribble by Anthony Mason. He does handle the ball well, but the Knicks do not want to see him put it on the floor that frequently. Shot clock at 8. And Mason's pass deflected out by the Bulls. So the Knicks with 4 on the 24.
Mason was pounding it too much. They had to wait for Charles Oakley to get back into the front court to try to get something going, but obviously used up a lot of time on that shot clock. 4 seconds left.
The Knicks have missed their last 5 shots. Mason gets it into Oakley, takes the return, and loses to Williams. It's a 24-second violation. Good play by Scott Williams.
Well, Charles Oakley has been the do-everything guy for the New York Knicks all season long as he's battling Williams there, knocking the ball loose, diving into the crowd behind the back pass to save that ball. And a great pass back inside to Mason on the underneath out-of-bounds play, but an excellent defensive play by Scotty Williams.
All right, Matt, the Bulls have taken a timeout. We'll be right back. Crowd at the Garden responding to the many personalities on hand at courtside. Tom Cruise and his wife Nicole Kidman. That's Barney Rubble, actually Rick Moranis, who is playing the role of Barney Rubble in Flintstones motion picture, which will be released. Woody Allen and Soon Yi, they are regulars here. Maury Povich, and to his left, actor Bill Baldwin, and John Thompson, head coach at Georgetown. Bill Murray. John Thompson has been following the flight of his former centers, Patrick Ewing and Dikembe Mutombo. He's been taking in the Utah-Denver series. Pippen was cut off and fouled. 3:01 remaining in this opening quarter. The Knicks and the Bulls tied at 16. Anthony Mason called for his first.
Robbie pondering right now as to how long he can keep Patrick Ewing on the bench, as long as the score is close, and in fact it's tied right now. Patrick, after picking up 2 fouls, went to the bench with about 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. And Phil Jackson talking to his team at the last timeout, saying not happy with what they're doing offensively. Let's get back to our offense, spread the floor, move the ball from side to side. We'll get good jump shots in rhythm or lanes to the basket. And hey, guys, they don't have anybody in there that can block a shot.
Scottie Pippen missed his first 2 and hits the 2 here to give the Bulls an 18-16 lead. Scottie Pippen 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. Steve Kerr has come on for the first time. He's played well in this series. Now the backcourt along with B.J. Armstrong. Mason, that's beyond his normal range. Anthony Mason has tied the game at 18. Kerr and Armstrong now at the guards. Wellington with Pippen and Williams up front. They are spreading the floor here. Away by Oakley with 5 on the 24.
Well, Mason and Starks trying to trap Steve Kerr very hard, and then an excellent job of rotation by Charles Oakley coming over to pester and knock that ball out of bounds.
Wellington. On a move on Herb Williams, then a look away, battle away, leading to the 24-second violation.
So Wellington trying to get a little too cute there. He knew the shot clock was winding down and tried to make that whip no-look pass from his hip to Scotty Williams. Williams never really saw it coming.
We are approaching 2 minutes remaining first quarter. The game is tied at 18. Herb Williams. Crowd wanted a goaltend call. Pippen for 3. Back comes Harper. 7th and deciding game of the Eastern Conference Semifinal series. And Jared Harper with his first field goal has given the Knicks a 20-18 lead. Indiana waiting to face the winner. Each team, the Knicks and the Bulls, 3-0 on its home court. The steal by Oakley. Chicago has lost 3 playoff games in New York by a combined total of only 10 points. That's the way this series has gone. Williams stopped by Wellington. Starks getting the screen. Mason changed his mind, but it was deflected out by the Bulls. So it will be Nick Ball with 5 on the shot clock. Tony Kukoc has come on for the first time. Scottie Pippen will get a rest. And Hubert Davis also checking in. Well, apparently a foul was called on Wellington. Wellington with a hold on Williams. So that's the second on Wellington. And Herb Williams extends to a 3-point Knick lead.
Well, both ball clubs have expended a lot of energy in this first quarter. The game started out fast and furious. Both teams trying to establish some kind of running game and up-tempo situation to get some easy baskets. Now the defenses have taken over, and every once in a while, a Pippen or Harper will come down and just launch a wild shot before they set anything up.
Harper applying pressure on Armstrong. Just under 1 minute left in the first. response from the crowd. Kukoc, who has had some big moments in this series, for Wellington. Air ball with the shot clock running down.
Well, Tony Kukoc has had a lot of success in this series by driving into the lane and getting towards the basket to draw the defense. That time, Anthony Mason shut him off, and Bill Wennington forced him to take a very tough shot under pressure. The Knicks pride themselves on challenging every shot. That's why they're one of the best teams in basketball.
The Knicks shooting only 7 for 21, but they have the three-point lead. The foul is called. Wennington reaching over as Mason went baseline, and that is number 3 on Wennington. Well, Phil Jackson, who has at least 4 centers on the roster, usually looks at it as an opportunity to give a lot of fouls at the center position, and they have certainly done that. 2 called on Longley, 3 on Wennington, and now Longley will be reinserted.
And Phil wants to save Bill Cartwright for as many minutes that Patrick Ewing plays as possible. He has kind of milked Bill Cartwright for the last few years with those sore knees, bad back, and whatever, as Patrick Ewing has to sit on the bench with 2 personal fouls. You know, so much has been written about the lack of production from the small forward spot for the Knicks. Charles Smith and Mason, both of them are off to very good starts in this first quarter.
And a loose ball foul called. Foul on Herb Williams, so that's 3 now on Williams. Ewing sitting down after playing the first 3 minutes, picking up the 2 fouls. His backup, Herb Williams, with 3. Charles Smith can't operate at the center position. The Knicks lead by 4. Scott Williams cuts it to 22-19 with 33 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Scott Williams only a 61% free throw shooter.
Pat Riley has to be very happy with this particular first quarter. The Knicks have really struggled in that opening stanza.
15 on the 24. 8-second difference between the game clock and the 24. Armstrong lost it. They'll jump it up. Herb Williams diving to the floor to tie it up.
Well, Derek Harper really moving his feet very well, keeping his hands active, knocking that ball loose from B.J. Armstrong, who has had an excellent series, not only shooting the ball, but when he has gotten the chances, he has put it on the floor and gone to the basket more than I can remember in the last couple of years.
The difference in this first quarter, Chicago committing 8 turnovers, the Knicks only 2. Kukoc controls, 10 seconds left in the quarter. The Bulls are down by 3. Kerr setting it up against Davis. Kukoc checking the clock. Kukoc over Mason, coming up short. The New York Knicks hearing the applause from the crowd. Patrick Ewing played only 3 minutes. Called for the 2 early fouls, but after 1, it's the Knicks 22, the Bulls 19. Yesterday, Phil Jackson made a reference to Madison Square Garden being a neutral territory. We had asked Phil about that earlier. What he meant, he said, was the fact that now the Bulls are accustomed to playing here at the Garden with the loud crowd and perhaps the calls going the Knicks' way, as Phil has certainly indicated. The Knicks with a 3-point lead, make it a 5-point lead now as Hubert Davis is able to bury the jump shot to start the second quarter. Hubert Davis only 0 for 7 from the field on Friday night in Game 6. Here's Kukoc getting inside, rebounded by Patrick Ewing, who's checked back in along with Greg Anthony, who makes his first appearance. That pass badly thrown off the turnover. What a move by Kukoc! Although the crowd was looking for a traveling violation.
The first fast break points of this ball game as Tony Kukoc able to beat everybody down the floor. On that last sequence by the Knicks, he can get away maybe with 1 cross-court pass, but not 2.
Davis, met by Kerr, throws it out. Anthony for 3. Pippen on the rebound. Pippen protecting the dribble. Kukoc passed on the three. Gets inside. Gorgeous move by Tony Kukoc.
Charles Oakley, in his effort to try to help out defensively, took himself out of position, and in trying to recover, no way he could stay in front of Kukoc. Too quick.
The Knicks 24 and the Bulls 23. Davis and Anthony at the guards. Oakley, Ewing up front with Mason. Pretty pass from Ewing. Oakley with 8 points. And the Knicks now lead by 3. Some light pressure being shown by New York. The lead to Williams, but he's met by Ewing. Pippen off the fake. Way off. Davis able to block the vision. Kerr for Pippen. And the Bulls are within 1. Scottie Pippen with 8 points, along with 7 rebounds.
Both coaches aware of controlling the ball, turnovers and lack of turnovers, getting to loose balls and giving up second shots. When you get a wild shot from Scottie Pippen like that, you expect to run out with it, not to give up a second shot opportunity and a lay-in.
Davis. Strong move by Hubert Davis, who has improved his work off the dribble. So Davis has come out and as connecting on his first 2 shots after the 0 for 7 the other night. The Knicks 28, the Bulls 25. Joe Crawford with the call away from the ball. It's on Mason. That's 2 on Mason. Timeout has been taken with 9.5 left, first half.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by the Schick ST Razor. We're changing the face of shaving. By Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline. And by the all-new Mitsubishi Galant. Filled with your favorite things.
The Knicks by 3, 9.5 to go in the second quarter. Looking back at this series, game 1. Won by the Knicks here at the Garden as they came back from a 15-point deficit. Second game, the spark provided by the combination of Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley. Mason 15 points and 14 rebounds. Then the Bulls came roaring back. Game 3, a game that saw Scottie Pippen asking out in the final seconds. Kukoc hit the buzzer beater. Scottie Pippen bounced back in game 4 last Sunday. Game 5 here at the Garden. Knicks able to win on the 2 free throws by Hubert Davis off that controversial call by Hugh Hollins. And then game 6 on Friday night, won by the Bulls 93-79. So this is the 7th and decider, and Scottie Pippen has brought the Bulls within 1. Pippen with 10 points. 9 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the second quarter. Anthony's pass knocked away by Kerr. Patrick Ewing yet to take a shot. Played only 3 minutes in the first quarter. On the floor here at the start of the second.
Phil Jackson has a lineup in there right now with Scottie Pippen playing the big guard position. He's being defended by Hubert Davis. The last time they went inside on him and got the easy basket. We'll see if they go in there again.
Here's Kukoc. He got the step. Oakley went to play him aggressively, and he got burned. He moved right into the face of Kukoc, who went left and went around him.
Well, Kukoc doesn't look particularly quick today, and he's been leveled off a couple of times by Mason. That time he got to the basket.
Davis has had the touch, 3 of 4 from the field. The Knicks 30 and the Bulls 29.
Well, Davis, the hero on game 5, making those 2 crucial free throws, and young players are always going to play better on their home floor.
Holding foul, says Ed Rush. Called on Davis.
Tony Kukoc with that ability to go by on the dribble as Oakley committing himself defensively too far out on the floor, and Patrick Ewing inside cannot afford to pick up his 3rd foul.
Now Pippen played by Davis. Here's the help. Mason over. Both try to find the open man. Cartwright, but he's way out of his range, and he's blocked by Ewing. Shot clock at 6. Kukoc on the recovery. Shot clock at 3. Cartwright lost it. 24-second violation. A very ugly sequence for the Bulls.
Well, Bo Cartwright being given the basketball in some very uncomfortable situations. Ewing challenging that deep jumper, which was a little bit questionable. But the last 2 times that Kukoc has touched the ball, Oakley has given ground.
Ewing with his first shot attempt. And the Knicks able to handle the offensive rebound. Davis. Cartwright rebound. The Knicks with a 1-point lead. And Riley going now with Hubert Davis against Scottie Pippen. Derek Harper will come on in a moment. And the foul called on Oakley.
Scottie Williams getting the ball down on the baseline, forcing the action in there on Oakley, just trying to overpower him and draw the foul, which he was able to do. Oakley trying to hold his ground. Smart play there by Scottie Williams. A kind of a little bit of another ticky-tack foul as Oakley appeared to go straight up. He did not argue that strongly on the particular play.
Do you feel they're calling him particularly close here this afternoon?
Very much so in the early going, but both teams would have to expect that in a Game 7. These two have been going at it very hard now for the last couple of weeks. And for all the things that have been going on, not only this year but in the past, the officials wanting to keep things under control, and that's their only way of doing it.
So Scott Williams has tied the game at 30. Harper is back, as is Smith. Smith with Ewing and Mason up front. Harper and Davis in the backcourt. Harper guarded by Kukoc. Went behind the back to Mason. Harper for 3. Both clubs struggling with the shot from downtown.
And the Bulls defense doing a good job of sagging in there, clogging the middle, and forcing the Knicks to put up a number of those perimeter shots.
The Knicks are 0 for 6 from three-point land. Bulls being forced, as has been the case throughout this series, to use much of the 24. Pippen had it knocked away. It'll be Chicago ball with only 4 remaining on the shot clock. But first, a timeout is called by the Knicks. 6:26 remaining, first half. Well, the last time that a road team won a Game 7 was back in 1982, Eastern Conference Finals between the Sixers and Celtics. Julius Erving and the 76ers winning in Boston, advancing to the finals. Interestingly, the Boston crowd showed their dislike towards the Lakers, serenading the Sixers with chance to beat L.A. And the Lakers went on to beat the 76ers in 6 games. Matt, I know you were an assistant coach under Billy Cunningham on that 76ers squad. Billy has always given you credit, saying you were an excellent road assistant coach.
In Game 7.
Right.
I thought the Boston Celtic fans were doing that because they liked us and appreciated the great series that we had. I didn't know it was because they disliked the Lakers.
The Knicks and the Bulls are tied at 30 with 6 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in this first half. And again, a call away from the ball. And Rush calling it against the Knicks. Offensive foul on John Starks.
John was setting up on the baseline, trying to move across the lane to free up Patrick Ewing. One of the reasons why Patrick only has 1 shot. The Knicks are doing a terrible job of getting him the ball inside. They've got to get some movement and some screen across action.
Now Starks guarding Pippen. Here's help from Ewing. Pippen with the fake. Rebounded by Ewing. Pippen with the fake, and then thought Mason would go back up, and that led to the shot off the mark.
Looked like he may have been intimidated a little bit. I don't think Mason can get up that high to block the shot, but he can certainly foul hard.
Pippen with the steal. Game tied at 30. 5.5 remaining, first half. Horace Grant back on the floor. Kukoc eluding Mason, whipping it for Grant. Yes, and the Bulls lead 32-30.
All series long, Horace Grant has camped out on the perimeter. A little bit of a subtle adjustment in the Bulls offense, and his teammates have been finding him for a lot of open jumpers.
Grant with 7 points in the first half. Harper from deep, way off. Stay right here, says Ed Rush. The foul called on Chicago. Here's Here's Charles Oakley checking back in. B.J. Armstrong has come on. Cartwright called for the foul. That's his first. Alley-oop for Smith, and he could not put it down. 32-30, Chicago. Kukoc fouled by Smith. That's his second.
Side out of bounds play for the Knicks. They like to run this little back pick that Ewing sets for Charles Smith, and that pass just a little bit behind Charles Smith, unable to get up that extra inch or two to catch it and finish the play. He's disappointed himself, and this crowd is disappointed because every time he misses something inside, they remember Game 5 of a year ago.
As Charles Smith with the 4 opportunities to win it for the Knicks, and could not put it down. Good ball movement. Kukoc for 3, way off. Ewing with the rebound, actually fielding that loop attempt by Kukoc. The Knicks have missed their last 5 shots. They are only 11 for 32, 34% shooting. The Bulls at 45% for the half. Ewing, it's a force. And it's handled by Armstrong. Not a good shot by Patrick Ewing. He's attempted only 2 following the early foul trouble. He's 0 for 2. Just under 4 minutes to go, first half. Now Kukoc looking to set up against Stark's illegal defense to call for the first time against the Knicks.
Patrick Ewing getting caught in the lane as his defensive assignment. Bill Cartwright way out in the corner, mentioning how the Knicks are not doing a good job of getting the ball inside to Ewing. He's not moving, but you got to give a lot of credit to Bill Cartwright. He's bumping him, banging him, pushing him off the block, not letting him get comfortable inside.
We talked about that earlier with Pat Riley. He says they're going back to what they normally have tried to do against Cartwright's defense. Oakley on the foul. Pat saying that he felt they were trying to make too many adjustments, and it made things even worse in the Knicks' attempt to get Ewing the ball against Cartwright.
And he said the reason was his team was thinking too much, and when his team thinks, they get all out of sync. They have to react to what they started to do way back in training camp and what they progressed throughout the season with. He said there's enough options in everything, depending on how teams are going to play it, to just make the right basketball play. But right now, they can't get the ball inside to Ewing. He probably should step out on the floor a little bit more and set some 2-man game pick and roll.
Horace Grant has had the field up the line. He's 2 for 2 today. I'll make it 2 for 3 for Grant, who, as you saw, has been going very well at the free throw strike. Bulls lead by 3. Knicks have not scored the last 5 minutes. And the tip put home by Oakley. The Bulls 33, the Knicks 32.
Well, as he usually does, Charles Oakley working on the offensive boards, has been shut down a couple of times on just missing easy tips. That time he got one to fall.
Ball kicked out of bounds, leg block. Bulls get a new 24. The Chicago Bulls are trying to become the first NBA team to win 4 consecutive championships since the Celtics' 8-year run ended back in 1966. They're trying to become the first team in any major professional sport to string together 4 straight titles since the New York Islanders won 4 Stanley Cups in the early 80s. Pippen unleashing. Myers gets it off. Oh, Pete Myers drills it to give the Bulls a 3-point lead. Here's Starks for 3. Pippen with the rebound. The Knicks 0 for 8 from downtown. Pippen is kicked away. And the call, last touch. Well, Ed Rush says last touch by Starks. He was at the baseline. However, Joe Crawford discussing it with Rush. And they say now last touch by the Bulls. A timeout is called. 2:45 remaining in this first half.
Bob Costas at the NBA studios in Secaucus, New Jersey. On the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll bring you live coverage of the NBA Draft Lottery. That will determine the order of selection for the top picks in next month's NBA Draft. One of the teams in the lottery is the Sacramento Kings. This would be their old logo that you're looking at. The Kings are set to unveil a new logo, which they hope will bring them good fortune in today's lottery. This is a live shot at Kings headquarters, and here is the new logo. New uniform, Spud Webb walking out, marketing the new uniform, or modeling it, or both. So, we'll be here at halftime for the Draft Lottery right now, back across the Hudson River to Marv Albert and Matt Gukas, both of whom are wearing new suits.
All right, Bob, 2:45 remaining in this first half. The defense logo here at Madison Square Garden, getting the crowd going. The Bulls 35 and the Knicks 32. Charles Oakley has been a major factor for the Knicks here in the first half. 10 points, 7 rebounds, 5 offensively, and 3 steals. Patrick Ewing has been quiet. Here is Ewing. Rebound Smith. Rebound Pippen. Scottie Pippen with his 9th rebound of the half. Ewing has not scored in this first half. Armstrong penetrates. It was rejected by Smith.
Oh, Bill Cartwright just doing an excellent job on Patrick Ewing. Patrick finally got the ball that last trip, but with just 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Oakley took a bump from Pippen. That's the first on Pippen.
B.J. Armstrong taking the ball to the basket, challenged by Charles Smith. Good block shot there as he got it right out of the hands of Armstrong. As Charles Oakley is getting to the basket as soon as Patrick Ewing gets double teamed, and Patrick is looking pass first. Another reason why he's not getting shots up.
That was called an on-shooting foul on Scottie Pippen. They double up on Ewing. Bulls continue to do a terrific job against Patrick Ewing. Here's Smith getting inside. 9 points for Charles Smith, and the Knicks are down by 1.
Well, coaches love that. When you play good defense and make a good defensive play, things generally turn out well for you at the offensive end.
A minute 25 left in the half. Cartwright hitting the move on Ewing. And the call is knocked out of bounds by Chicago.
Kind of a half-hearted drive that time by Bill Cartwright, starting from way out on the floor. With Ewing having 2 fouls, I'm a little surprised that the Bulls have not gone a couple of times inside to Cartwright to see if maybe they can pick up the third. However, with the way Patrick is playing offensively, they soon have him on the floor.
Oakley open. The Knicks 36. The Bulls 35. Charles Oakley, high man for the Knicks with 12. 45 seconds remaining in the half. Myers with 3 on the 24. And that will count. It's a goaltend. So Pete Myers gets credit, and the Bulls take a 1-point lead.
All because the floor is spread. It opens up the driving lane for Myers as Patrick Ewing getting there late with the ball on the way down. Crowd not happy with the call, but Patrick Ewing didn't argue play at all.
Patrick Ewing has not scored. John Starks with only 1 point. Here's Harper. Eric Harper has been able to penetrate against the Bulls throughout the series. Knicks by 1. And the Bulls holding for a final shot. Myers gets the screen. Grant from deep. Well, the Knicks get a break as it pops over to the top of the backboard. It'll be Nick Ball, but first they'll talk it over with a 20-second timeout. 9 and 4/10 seconds to go in this first half.
Well, some great things happening for the Knicks in this first half. Important that they got off to a good start in the first quarter. Something they've been unable to do throughout this whole series. It didn't start off quite as well in the second period, but now with this crowd behind them, they have come alive here in the last 3 minutes of this second quarter.
Patrick Ewing for the series, averaging just under 24 a game, although he has not had a sensational series. Blanked in the first half. Played only 3 minutes in the first quarter. John Starks averaging 15.5 per game against the Bulls in this series with only 1 point. But Starks the kind of player who can go hot and cold. He can suddenly turn it on. John Starks has made it back from the arthroscopic knee surgery. He was having an outstanding season, earning him his first All-Star game selection, but it's miraculous that he has come as far as he has following the surgery, but he is not the player that he was during the first half of the year. The Knicks lead by 1. Final seconds of the half. Hoffer moving on Armstrong. Setting up Davis, who just checked in. Hubert Davis. And time has run out. Well, this certainly a representative Knick Chicago first half, as they have clawed at each other right from the start. Scottie Pippen, 10 points, 4 of 11 from the field, 9 rebounds, and Charles Oakley, 6 of 12 for his 12 points, along with 10 rebounds. Bob Costas coming up with coverage of the NBA lottery. Knicks by 1 at the half. Stay with us.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock. Now, with our live coverage of the NBA Draft Lottery, here's Bob Costas.
Halftime of Game 7 at the Garden between the Knicks and the Bulls, remarkably with Patrick Ewing scoreless and John Starks with just 1 point. The Knicks lead by 1 over the Bulls, 38-37. Now on to the NBA Draft Lottery being held this year at the NBA studio in Secaucus, New Jersey. The NBA Draft itself will be held on June 29th at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. Today, the order of selection will be determined by the lottery. This is the 10th annual lottery. It was introduced in part to remove the possibility of teams with poor records losing intentionally in order to secure a high pick in the draft based solely on order of finish. It's not clear who the first pick will be this year, but here's a look at some of the top prospects. Most NBA observers say one of these 3 players will go number 1. Purdue's versatile forward Glenn Robinson, the 6'8" junior who led the nation in scoring this past season, averaging 30 points a game, is perhaps the top pick. Another possibility is 3-time All-American Grant Hill. Duke's 6'8" swingman played in 3 NCAA title games in his 4 years in Durham, winning twice. And if it's a point guard thereafter, Jason Kidd of Cal could be the man. This past season, the 6'4" sophomore enhanced his reputation as the nation's best at his position. 2 junior forwards, Michigan's Juwan Howard and Connecticut's Donyell Marshall, will also be highly sought. And 2 centers figure to be among the top several picks, North Carolina's Eric Montross and George Washington's Yinka Dare, both 7-footers. And, of course, there are many others we don't have time to mention among the talent that will flow into the NBA this year. Now on to the rules. And believe me, especially this year, you had best pay attention. And even then, no one's going to dish you if you don't get it all, because I recorded what you're about to see, and I'd hate to have to take a test on it, but at least it will give you the general idea. So let's roll it. This year, the NBA is using a modified draft lottery system designed to increase the chances of the teams with the worst records winning one of the first 3 picks, while decreasing the odds of the teams with the best records. This change came about after last year's lottery, when Orlando, with just 1 chance out of 66, won the lottery, while Dallas, the team with the worst record, ended up with the 4th pick. Under the new system, the worst team, again the Mavericks, has seen its chances of winning the first pick increase from 17% to 25%. Meanwhile, Charlotte, the team with the best record in the lottery, would have had a 1.5% chance to win the top pick under the old system, as Orlando was lucky enough to do last year. But this year, their chances are down to just 0.5%. Under the NBA's new system, 14 ping pong balls numbered 1 through 14 will be placed in a drum, and 4 balls will be drawn to the top. There are 1,001 possible combinations when 4 balls are drawn out of 14 without regard to the order in which the balls are drawn. Prior to the lottery, combinations were divided among the 11 lottery teams. The team with the worst record in the league, Dallas, has 250 combinations, giving it a 25% chance of drawing the first pick. Think of it as you would a raffle with a limited number of tickets sold. The more tickets you hold, the greater your likelihood of winning. Now, that's no misprint for Milwaukee. By having identical records, Detroit, Minnesota, and Milwaukee divided the chances allotted for slots 2, 3, and 4 as evenly as possible, but the Bucks drew the short straw. For each of the first 3 selections, 4 balls will be drawn from the drum. A chart listing all 1,000 assigned combinations and the team holding each combination will then be consulted. If, for example, balls 2, 4, 11, and 14 are drawn, the chart would be consulted to see which team was assigned that combination of numbers. The first 3 picks are determined by this lottery system. Then, the order of selection of the remaining 8 teams will be determined by inverse order of their regular season records. This guarantees the team with the worst record, Dallas, of no worse than the 4th overall pick. Unquestionably a more complicated system, but it is also more equitable. And if you thought I was done with you, there are 2 more things. First, regarding Detroit, Minnesota, and Milwaukee with their identical records, each obviously has an excellent chance of winding up among the first 3 picks. But a blind draw has determined that if any or all of them have to be slotted outside the lottery according to inverse order of finish, they will choose in this order: Pistons, Timberwolves, and then Bucks. Also, Charlotte, tiny as its chances would be to begin with, isn't actually in the lottery anyway, having traded away its pick. Philadelphia gets either its own pick or Charlotte's, whichever is better. Seattle gets the worse of those 2 picks. The actual drawing has just been conducted in a separate room under the supervision of NBA Deputy Commissioner Russ Granick. The process was witnessed by representatives of the 11 lottery teams, different representatives from the individuals sitting here. Also there was Mark Manoff, a partner in the international accounting firm of Ernst & Young. Mr. Manoff is the only person in this studio who knows the results, including Commissioner David Stern. And he's serious about it, as you can see. Here are the team, this is serious business, and here are the team representatives from the Seattle Supersonics, owner Barry Ackerley. From the Los Angeles Lakers, Vice President of Marketing Frank Mariani, GM Jerry West, declined to attend, saying that what it represents made him feel uncomfortable. Lakers outside the playoffs for the first time since 1976. Representing the Boston Celtics, one of the greatest players in league history, 3-time MVP, Larry Bird. From the Sacramento Kings, a member of their ownership group, Rick Gilchrist. From the Los Angeles Clippers, Hall of Famer, Vice President and General Manager of the Clippers, Elgin Baylor. Representing the Philadelphia 76ers, Director of Player Personnel, Gene Shue. From the Washington Bullets, one of their captains, Tom Gugliotta, himself a first-round pick as he was taken 6th in the '92 draft. From the Milwaukee Bucks, Vice President of Basketball Operations and Head Coach, Mike Dunleavy. Representing the Minnesota Timberwolves, their president, Bob Stein. From the Detroit Pistons, Director of Player Personnel, Billy McKinney. And finally, from the Dallas Mavericks, an alternate on the NBA Board of Governors, Ronnie Carter. Commissioner David Stern will open the envelopes representing the selection order 11 through 1. Keep in mind that since slots 4 through 11 are determined by inverse order of regular season finish, only the first 3 positions are actually determined by the lottery. And now to announce the order of the first 11 picks of this year's NBA draft, here's the Commissioner, David Stern.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the NBA Draft Lottery. Everyone has been briefed on the lottery procedures, so let's get started and see who picks where in the 1994 NBA Draft. The 11th pick goes to the Seattle Supersonics.
That's a pick that would have belonged to Charlotte.
The 10th pick
Seattle's
goes
through trade.
to the Los Angeles Lakers.
That's an inverse order selection, so form holding so far.
The 9th pick goes to the Boston Celtics.
That's where Boston would be according to inverse order of finish.
The 8th pick goes to the Sacramento Kings.
That's their new logo, but no new luck. That's just where inverse order
The
of finish
7th
would have
pick
placed them.
goes to the Los Angeles Clippers.
So far, no surprises.
The 6th pick goes to the Philadelphia 76ers.
Again, that's where they would have been slotted.
The 5th pick goes to the Washington Bullets.
Not a surprise yet.
The 4th pick goes to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Well, Milwaukee
Now
moved
let's
up
see
a little bit, but
which teams have the first 3 picks in the 1994 NBA
Milwaukee,
draft.
Detroit, and Dallas
The 3rd
are
pick
alive.
in the 1994 NBA draft goes to the Detroit Pistons.
Milwaukee and Dallas.
The 2nd pick in the 1994 NBA draft goes to the Dallas Mavericks.
Mike
And that
Dunleavy
means
raises his arms in
that the
jubilation.
first pick in the 1994 NBA draft goes to the Milwaukee Bucks. Come on up, Mike Dunleavy.
So when we come back, we'll hear from Mike Dunleavy, the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. Last year, with their first-round pick, they took Vin Baker out of Hartford, which proved to be a very inspired selection for them. Baker did well, and we'll talk with Dunleavy about their having the #1 pick overall after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. Here's Mike Dunleavy just before they announced whether it would be the Mavericks or the Bucks in the #1 slot, and obviously it is Milwaukee, the Dallas Mavericks, with the worst record in the league. Last year they had the worst record, had to settle for the 4th pick, did a bit better. They wind up #2, but here's Milwaukee in the #1 spot. And here is Mike Dunleavy joining us. I mentioned Vin Baker did well with him last year, but now you have the #1 pick overall. What are you going to do with it?
Well, I think from our standpoint, we need size. Obviously, I need to go back and talk with my owner and see where we stand and there's possibilities of doing anything with the pick. But I like Glenn Robinson a lot.
If it came down to Glenn Robinson and Grant Hill, would Glenn Robinson be the guy?
I think what it comes down to is that, in today's league and the way things have gone, is that you need to interview players. You still need to sit down with them. You need to see and work them out. You need to talk with them because there's a lot going on with the amount of money that players are being paid right now. And I think character means an awful lot as far as in the selecting process. You want guys with good character. You want guys who, when they're paid all this money, it's not going to mean. I look at it the way I look at Magic Johnson. Is I know no matter what he got paid, night in, night out, he's going to be there to play ball.
It's a draft rich in forwards and swingmen. You could also use a center. Any chance you'd trade the pick?
I would never say never about anything as far as, our position. My job as both coach and general manager is to make the best deal possible for our team. And I think in the time I've been in Milwaukee, we've looked at trades, we've looked at free agents, and we looked through the draft. And those are 3 ways you build a better team. So, we're going to explore all those areas.
Obviously, you not only had a record poor enough to have a good chance of getting the #1 pick statistically, but the season really ended on a down note for you guys. You're in a tailspin as the season ended. Do you worry about a carryover?
Well, the thing you worry about is, I don't think there's any question about the way we went about this season. Once we realized that we were not a playoff team, we've got a lot of young players on this team that we were trying to prepare for the future, that we gave playing time in amounts that they probably didn't deserve, but in terms of looking ahead. And I think everybody understood what we were doing, and I think some of the guys a guy like Vin Baker for sure, matured a lot, became a much better player because of what we did. And I think our players understood. I talked with them. I tried to spend a lot of time communicating to them about what we were trying to do. And losing's not easy for anybody. And I don't want anybody on my team who comes to like it. But I think our guys will not have a carryover for next year.
Mike, congratulations.
Thank you, Bob.
All right,
Appreciate it.
the Bucks have the #1 pick. Nothing is definite, but Glenn Robinson's name was prominently mentioned. By way of review, here's the order of selection for next month's draft. The first pick, of course, belongs to the Milwaukee Bucks, then Dallas. Detroit is #3. Minnesota gets the 4th pick. Washington #5. Philadelphia, the Clippers, Sacramento, Boston, the Lakers, and finally Seattle picking up Charlotte's selection through a trade. We'll send it back to the Garden for the second half of the Knicks and the Bulls. New York up by 1 in Game 7. Marv Albert and Matt Gukas will rejoin you right after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
The Chicago Bulls making their way back out of the floor here at Madison Square Garden. Marv Albert, Matt Gukas, and Ahmad Rashad as we get set for the second half. The Knicks with that 1-point lead over the Bulls. And Matt, despite the fact that Patrick Ewing in his 15 minutes of playing time in the first half did not score.
And much of it has been the inability of the Knicks to deliver the ball to Patrick where and when he wants it. They've got to reverse the ball and screen across, but you got to give a lot of credit to Bill Cartwright for bumping him, pushing him, knocking him off the block, and just not letting Patrick get comfortable.
Ewing 0 for 3 in his 15 minutes. Let's check out the Miller Genuine Draft halftime stats. The Bulls at 15 of 34. That's 44% shooting. The Knicks only 15 of 43, 35%. You see the stats on Ewing. Meanwhile, Charles Oakley and Charles Smith have done a nice job bouncing back from Game 6 on Friday night. In the rebounding department, the Bulls with a slight edge, and Scottie Pippen has come out strong. A first half that has seen 10 points and 9 rebounds. Scottie 4 of 11 from the field and 2 out of 4 from the foul line. And perhaps some advice from his college coach, John Thompson. Words between Patrick Ewing, John Thompson. I don't know. Is John psyching him up here for the second half? We'll be back at the Garden in a moment. Well, for Pat Riley and Phil Jackson, it has come down to this. The second half about to start. 7th deciding game. Series tied at 3. Indiana Pacers waiting to face the winner. The Knicks and Bulls meeting in the playoffs for the 4th straight year, 5th time the last 6 years. The Bulls have won all 5 of their all-time playoff series against the Knicks. The chant of "Let's Go Knicks." A game that has been tight right throughout. Biggest lead for the Bulls, a margin of 3. The Knicks in one stretch, a brief one, led by as many as 5 points. Scottie Pippen is the high man with 10. Horace Grant with 8, but Grant not doing it off the boards. 6 apiece for Pete Myers and Tony Kukoc. Charles Oakley, 6 of 12 from the field for his 12 points. Charles Smith played well. He has 9. And Derek Harper and Hubert Davis with 6 apiece.
Well, in the middle of the series, Pat Riley and the Knicks were being criticized for not getting Patrick Ewing enough shots. And Pat said, no, Patrick Ewing is just not about shooting for this team. We got to have him do a lot of other things. Pass the ball, play defense, be a presence in the middle.
But at other stages of the series, a perfect pass for Ewing, who was fouled. A bullet pass, and Ewing will go to the free throw line. At other times, there has been criticism that Ewing has taken too many shots, so he's gone through both stages.
Just an excellent thread-the-needle pass from Charles Oakley as Bill Cartwright had his back turned as he whistled it right by the right ear of Bill Cartwright. Great pass by Cartwright, and for some reason, Patrick Ewing was unable to stuff that ball. I guess the foul kept him from doing it.
Ewing on the line for the first time, a 76% free throw shooter. Remains concerning the 2 missed free throws in the clutch in game number 5. That took place with 30 seconds remaining, and then Hubert Davis went to the line and hit the 2 foul shots in the final seconds. The Knicks 39, the Bulls 37. Ewing with his first point of the game. And Armstrong in the backcourt. B.J. Armstrong tying the game at 39. The Knicks with a backcourt combination of Harper and Starks, Ewing, Smith, and Oakley on the front line. Harper with a change of direction and foul. Derek Harper had the step on the penetration and then was held.
B.J. Armstrong on that last trip down the floor getting that stagger screen, which he has gotten all series long, and the Knicks have really not had an answer for it. They're trying to follow him. They're trying to get a big show. And Derek Harper, a little upset that he got picked off there, wanted to take the ball right back at B.J. Armstrong.
Harper only a 68% free throw shooter. Whoa, throwing a brick off the back iron. Derek Harper, acquired from Dallas back in early January in the deal for Tony Campbell, who is on hand here this afternoon, plus a conditional first-round draft pick. The Knicks are 8 of 12 at the line. And Harper misses on both.
Oh, everything was wrong with the whole timing there. I've never seen Derek Harper take that much time. He just did not look at ease at all during those 2 free throws.
Game tied at 39. Opening minute, third quarter. Armstrong working off a screen. Shot clock at 5. Cartwright looking for possession. Pippen has to shoot the 3. Oh, what a move by Pippen on the bank dribble to set it up with the clock running down. And he's given the Bulls a 42-39 lead. That's the first successful three-pointer for either club today. Ewing is rejected. A double rejection. And the ball knocked out of bounds, last touched by the Bulls. A remarkable play by Chicago.
Patrick Ewing's move into the lane was turned away by Bill Cartwright, who challenged that shot, but Pete Myers coming from behind to knock it out.
And a 2-shot foul is called. Foul on the inbounds pass on Cartwright before the ball was thrown in.
Pete Myers coming from behind. I don't think Patrick Ewing ever saw him. He knew he was almost behind the backboard, just trying to get that over the outstretched arm of Cartwright.
John Starks, who has been a very dependable free throw shooter, 1 for 2 this afternoon. He was held by Cartwright as the Knicks lined up for the inbounds pass.
John 0 for 5 from the field in the first half. In a game like this, a Game 7 situation, you expect your all-star caliber players like Ewing, Starks, and Oakley to come up big. Then you need something from either a Mason and a Smith. They got it from Smith in the first half, but very little production, if any, from Starks and Ewing.
So Starks hits 1 of 2, and Pippen able to surge for the rebound. Pippen eluding Oakley. Bulls lead by 2. Pippen guarded by Smith. Grant sets the screen. Oakley jumps out on a double team. Pippen is able to handle it. Grant. Oh, what a play by Myers. Pete Myers, the one-time New York Knick, has hit 4 out of 4 for 8 points. He had a good game on Friday night in Chicago. He's done it again here today. And the Bulls have a 4-point lead. It's their biggest lead of the afternoon. Crowd getting impatient with Patrick Ewing. Ewing going and Cartwright. It counts and the foul. That is his first field goal.
And that wasn't very smooth as well as Cartwright continues to bump him and bang him. Patrick Ewing, the Warrior, is going to just keep coming at you. Turns and faces you, Cartwright, for one of the first few times today and forces this shot up. Little foot fake and a quick move as Cartwright tries to get out of the way, but Patrick Ewing will go to the free throw line, and it has not been a very friendly place for the Knicks in this third quarter.
And that was number 4 on Cartwright, who takes a seat. 3 of the 4 coming here in the third quarter. The Bulls by 1. Whistles are blowing freely here at the start of the third quarter. John Starks making the contact. He's hit with the foul. The Bulls already have 4 team fouls. Knicks with only 1. Luke Longley has come on, replacing Bill Cartwright. Longley got in early foul trouble in the first half. Grant from deep. So it will be Knick ball. The Bulls 44 and the Knicks 43 with 2:20 gone by in the third quarter. Pat Riley couldn't believe there was no Knick set to inbound the ball.
Just everybody fell asleep. It's amazing in a Game 7 situation, and they're coming out after a very long halftime period, but nobody to bring the ball in. That's unbelievable.
Oakley from deep. Oh! Rebounded by Pippen. Pippen running the floor, going all the way, and he was hacked by Smith. for Charles Smith, his third foul. And Scottie Pippen is back at the line.
Scottie Pippen really having Charles Smith at a disadvantage in the open floor. However, he was in the process of taking a poor percentage shot. Just going to scoop and flip there, bailed out on a silly foul by Charles Smith.
Scottie Pippen in his 7th NBA season out of Central Arkansas.
Thank you, sir.
Looking back at Phil Jackson. Scottie, the most valuable player in the All-Star game. 29 points, 31 minutes. He was really on a roll and then went into a bit of a fade following his play after the All-Star game.
And a couple of controversies with the crowd in Chicago. And he bounced back after that and has had a very strong finish and getting well rewarded for it and being named in as the all-defensive team and the biggest hook getter in the all-league team.
And able to bounce back, obviously, from walking out on the Bulls in the final seconds. Patrick Ewing has tied the game at 45. Pippen with the step. Rebounded by Oakley. Starks decides to reset. Ewing facing up against Longley. Starks for 3. And the Knicks able to maintain possession. Ewing. Good box out by Pippen. Scottie Pippen with his 13th rebound. Knicks and Bulls tied at 45 with 4 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Grant took the hit from behind. Grant cutting to the basket, taking the pass from Luke Longley, was fouled by that man, Charles Oakley. Looked like Charles jammed the finger.
The Bulls picked up a lot of quick fouls in the opening minutes of this third quarter. They got 4, which means the next one will put them into the penalty. The Knicks should be trying to get to the basket every time down at their end.
As Grant gets to the basket, led beautifully by Pete Myers. Bulls lead by 2. Ewing back out for Starks. Again the 3, and this time he hits it. For the Knicks, it is their first three-pointer of the game. 1 for 10 from downtown, and the Knicks take a 1-point lead. Grant gets the roll, and the Bulls lead by 1. 12 points for Grant. For the most part, again, from the outside, he does not have any rebounds. Starks for 3. Well, John Starks, the type of shooter who can get going after struggling in the early portion of the game. Phil Jackson upset because Starks was not playing tightly. Starks called for the foul. Phil Jackson looking for more pressure against John Starks.
Well, with Luke Longley on Patrick Ewing, Patrick able to move better, drawing the double team and getting the wide open Starks. An excellent look at a three-pointer as John Starks really starting to feel it. And the reason that Phil Jackson upset is just good execution by the Knicks. They curled Charles Smith around Ewing, and then the pop out by John Starks for another good look.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by new Ocean Spray Lemonade, made with real juice in 3 irresistible flavors. By Acura, who invites you to test drive the new 1994 Acura Integra. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Beautiful day in the New York City area. We welcome you back to Madison Square Garden, where Patrick Ewing and John Starks have turned it after the very quiet first half. They accounted for only one of the Knicks' 38 points in the first half. They've scored all 13 here in the third quarter. Starks with 7 and Ewing with 6. Ahmad Rashad has been hanging around the Chicago huddle. Let's check in with Ahmad.
Yeah, Marv, I've been hanging around and during that last time out, Phil Jackson was very upset that John Starks was able to get a couple of those open jump shots, and offensively very concerned about getting BJ off or getting the ball down in the post. He just thinks that the Knicks are playing such tenacious defense, they haven't been able to get their offense into sync. Mark.
Heinemann. The outlet by Oakley thrown away. Charles Oakley anxious to get it to Charles Smith, who comes up hobbling after chasing that lead pass. Smith able to work it out, though. Knicks 51, the Bulls 49, 6.5 remaining in the third quarter. See if the Bulls are able to adjust offensively. Well, that will help the adjustment. Scottie Pippen with 16 points, and he's tied the game at 51. Hopper and Starks in the backcourt. Smith, Ewing, and Oakley up front. Charles Smith on a crossover dribble gets inside. The tip missed by Oakley. Hustle down. Here's Ewing.
Just great work inside by Smith, Oakley, and Ewing to get that bucket.
But Pete Myers gets it back on the transition, and the game is tied at 53. Couple of three-point shots by John Starks, igniting the Knicks. You recall Starks hurting the Bulls back in Game 2 with those two late three-pointers within 37 seconds of each other. Starks looking for the room. Starks with the reverse, rejected. Pippen on the block. Here comes Myers. Sets up Armstrong. Yes. And the Bulls lead 55 to 53. So B.J. Armstrong does return to the offense. That's his third field goal. Has 6 points.
The Knicks look very much aware. They know that the Bulls are in the penalty. They are as well, but they want to get to the basket and force the Bulls defense to make a decision. Let them go or foul them.
Now the Bulls not allowing Starks the three-point shot. Beautiful play by Myers. On the block, Myers doubles back. Here's Pippen. Scottie Pippen from Pete Myers, and Pat Riley wants to talk it over. The Bulls 57 and the Knicks 53 with just under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Well, 2 straight fast breaks for the Chicago Bulls, set off by this block shot from behind as Scottie Pippen on the give and go with Pete Myers. Little shovel pass right back. Another definitive dunk.
Pete Myers, the man who slipped into the Chicago Bulls starting lineup with the departure of Michael Jordan, has done a tremendous job once again against one of his many former teams, the New York Knicks. Myers with a strong game on Friday night in Chicago. Ewing on a fadeaway brings the Knicks within 2. A 6-0 run by the Bulls, stopped by the field goal by Patrick Ewing. Did not score at all in the first half, and he has scored 10 points here in the third quarter. As a public service, we bring you the information that Michael Jordan today is with his Birmingham team in Huntsville, Alabama. A game that is just underway. Bulls by 2. Smith getting position.
Well, in transition, Charles Smith runs the floor and tries to get to that right block as quick as possible. And that's another thing Patrick Ewing can do. Boy, he caught the ball up top and delivered a perfect pass inside of Charles Smith.
The game is tied at 57. Just under 4 minutes left. Third quarter. Grant setting up Myers. Will it count? Yes, it does. What a shot. Myers actually lost possession and punched it off the glass as he drew the foul. Starks called for his 4th. That is the play of the game.
Well, Myers cutting across the lane and not only mishandling the ball and slopping it towards the basket, he had to do it through the arms of Patrick Ewing. A bounce pass by Horace Grant. Ewing challenging this shot, and I don't know how Pete Myers got that through. You know, we talk about the all-star players in the case of Chicago, Pippen, Grant, Armstrong. You expect them to come up big in big games, but you have to get it from that unexpected source, and Pete Myers has delivered today.
He is now 6 for 6 from the field, 13 points in all, along with 2 block shots. The Bulls 60 and the Knicks 57. Hopper finding some room and picked up by Armstrong. The double team comes on Ewing. Illegal defense also forthcoming.
Well, ever since Bill Cartwright has gone to the Chicago bench with 4 fouls, and Luke Longley is just not experienced enough or strong enough to play Patrick Ewing, so there's that little doubt in the minds of the other Chicago players. Every time the ball goes inside to Ewing, they either come double or they're not sure, and it's opened up a lot of good shots for the Knicks.
That was the first warning on the illegal defense against Chicago. Knicks have one. Longley on the intercept. Tony Kukoc back on the floor for the Bulls. Scottie Pippen getting a rest. You know that Phil Jackson wants to have Pippen fresh for the fourth quarter. Longley had it knocked away, and a foul is called. It's on Hopper. That is his first.
Well, right on cue, Luke Longley, who has had his problems with Patrick Ewing, this time doing a little bit better job of anticipating and stepping into the passing lane to pick off that earned pass from Derek Harper. Too soft.
Luke Longley, member of the Australian Olympic team back in 1988, 1992. From the University of New Mexico. Steve Kerr checking back in. And Pete Myers heads to the bench. What a performance by Pete Myers, who was greeted by his teammates. 13 points for Myers. So Luke Longley with his first point of the afternoon. And the Bulls now lead 61-57. We come up on 3 minutes remaining in the third. Gilbert Davis, Anthony Mason now on the floor. There's Mason.
Once again, the front line of the Knicks teaming up for another easy basket. The pass from Ewing inside, and then a little touch pass for the easy lay. Great ball handling.
Bulls lead by 2. Grant. Difficult off-balance shot by Horace Grant, who has 14. The Bulls 63. The Knicks 59. Seventh and deciding game of the Eastern Conference Semifinal series. Ewing foul. Foul by Longley.
Well, Horace Grant, who has shot the ball unbelievably well from the perimeter in this series as he cuts across the lane. He's not only knocked the jumper in cleanly, he's had a few bounce all around for him. He feels very comfortable on the perimeter in the particular way that the Bulls are running their offense against New York.
Let's go over to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Mark, during that last timeout, Phil Jackson's comments were pretty much centered at Horace Grant. Horace Grant is guarding the outside man. He's also rotating and also running on the break. He tried to get more energy out of Horace, which is a tough job, but they got him doing a lot of things. But if they can get that from Horace, he feels like they're in a much better position.
Grant with 14 points, does not have any rebounds. Grant averages 11 rebounds per game. He's averaged just under 6 during this series, although he did come up big off the board the other night with 12. Patrick Ewing continues to have his ups and downs at the foul line. Ewing is now 3 out of 5 from the line. The Bulls lead by 3 points. Steve Kerr and B.J. Armstrong now in the backcourt. Tony Kukoc, Horace Grant, Luke Longley up front. Armstrong met on a switch. Longley is open. There's a switch. Kerr setting the pick for the big guy, Longley.
There's something wrong with that picture.
Just under 2 minutes to go in the third. Ewing facing the double team. The pass recovered by Mason. Hard driving move by Mason. Ewing with the rebound. And then it's taken by Grant. That's his first rebound of the day. Here comes Armstrong looking to pull it up. Hopper stays with him. Nice lead for Longley, who blew the layup. Back comes Mason. Ewing on a give and go with Oakley. And the Knicks are within 1.
Well, every time the Bulls defense turns their head, Charles Oakley is going to the basket. Patrick Ewing is finding him, and good things are happening for New York. There it is, the pass to Ewing as Longley looks away, and Horace Grant getting totally out of position on defense, and that enables Oakley to get the easy dunk.
A timeout taken by Phil Jackson with 1:21 remaining in the third quarter. The Bulls now have a 63-62 lead. Well, Patrick Ewing turning it around in this third quarter after going scoreless in the first half. 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists in all 11 points in this third quarter. John Starks had the quiet first half, and he's been able to come on. 7 of his 8 points here in the third. He hit 2 from downtown. That man, Bill Cartwright, now with 4 personal fouls. So Phil Jackson going with Luke Longley, who a moment ago picked up his 3rd foul.
Now, so much of the story of this series has been the Knicks not playing particularly well in the first 3 quarters of every game, but then trying to turn it up defensively in the 4th quarter and being able to do it in a couple of games to come back and win. They're in a better position today. I'm sure Pat Riley and these Knicks fans would like to have a lead at this point, but it's going to be better than trying to come from behind in that 4th period.
This has been a terrific series, certainly an eventful series. The Bulls, a team that has tormented and eliminated the Knicks in 4 of the last 5 seasons. Last season in the conference final, here the meeting in the semifinal set. The winner to go up against the Indiana Pacers, who are certainly enjoying their rest after knocking off the Atlanta Hawks. Knicks and Bulls getting together in the playoffs for the 4th straight year, 5th time in the last 6 years. And the Bulls have won all 5 of their playoff series against the Knicks. Chicago leads by 1. It has been close throughout. Marv Albert with Matt Dukas and Ahmad Rashad from Madison Square Garden in New York. Greg Anthony now on the floor guarding B.J. Armstrong. Armstrong stopped by Anthony. And it's recovered by Ewing.
Well, that's got to make Greg Anthony feel good, coming right off the bench to make a contribution defensively, because B.J. Armstrong has victimized him a number of times in this series. He stopped him cold.
Ewing got the step. Strong snap pass thrown by Oakley. The Knicks lead by 1. 40 seconds to go in the 3rd. Shot clock at 10. Kukoc. And away from the ball, a collision between Anthony and Armstrong. Oh, Anthony and Grant had some words. Looked like Grant pushed Anthony. Horace not satisfied that Anthony unraveled from Armstrong.
B.J. coming off those baseline screens, being followed very hard by Greg Anthony on that outside hip. Gets all tripped up here, and then his effort to try to get up, maybe a little extra bang in the head as caught him with the left knee as he was getting up, as Horace Grant pushes Anthony away. Maybe a little too much extra there by Greg Anthony.
B.J. Armstrong missing on his first free throw attempt.
Watch the left knee. The left knee of Greg Anthony in getting up. This is what they used to do in the old days in the NFL, that little extra elbow knee after the tackle.
That is so unnecessary, and we've seen several Knicks pull that off right throughout the series. Now, the Knicks Anthony will say that it was unintentional, but I believe there was intent right there to bother Armstrong, and that has been the Knicks style right throughout. Knicks by 1. 15 seconds to go in the 3rd. Here's Davis. Oakley recovers. Anthony with the shot clock running down. Hits the 3. Final seconds of the 3rd. Knicks lead by 4. And Kukoc fires it. A late surge by the Knicks. 8-0 run. They lead after 3, 67-63. We'll be back after a word from your local station.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Greg Anthony coming off the Knicks bench first to make a good defensive play on B.J. Armstrong, and then raises up beyond the arc, and his backward momentum taking him into Phil Jackson, and the unnecessary throw of the fist. Nevertheless, Greg Anthony has made his presence felt.
Yes, a little taunting of the opposition coach by Greg Anthony. The Knicks concluding the third quarter with an 8-0 run, and this crowd is in a frenzy. Scottie Pippen back on the floor. Remember, the Knicks have had great success in the fourth quarter against the Bulls. Kukoc had it knocked away, deflected by Ewing. No backcourt violation. Shot clock is down to 7. Pippen lost it. Knocked away from Pippen. And back comes Anthony. Anthony and Davis in the backcourt. Ewing, Oakley, Mason up front. Ewing punches it back out and lost control. Longley fronting Ewing, who's now way out, and shoots for 3. Oakley with the save. Davis beating Kukoc. Ewing kept it alive, but Kukoc is on the ball. It's a game that has been close throughout. Neither club has led by more than 5. And a gorgeous pass off the dribble served up by Scottie Pippen for Horace Grant. The Knicks now lead 67-65.
Watching Grant at the defensive end, his main job is to try to keep Charles Oakley off the boards, and he's working very hard at it, getting his body on it. That's how good Charles Oakley is. He continues to get second shot.
Phil Jackson upset as that ball was hammered home by Patrick Ewing. Jackson going to the bench for Bill Cartwright. He jumped up off that field goal. Longley not able to keep Ewing away. Kukoc for 3. Ewing with the rebound. The Knicks with the ball and a 4-point lead. Anthony for Oakley, and a foul is called. It's called in the act of shooting. Oakley will go to the line, fouled by Horace Grant.
Phil Jackson is livid because on this wild shot by Davis, Luke Longley never gets his body on Patrick Ewing, who comes in for the tap, and Phil has seen enough. Cartwright had to go to the bench earlier in the third period with 4 fouls. He tried to keep him out as long as possible to get some rest and protect those fouls. And now Phil is talking to Kukoc about the horrible shot he took at the other end. Tony's trying to tell him he got fouled on the play. Phil said, no way, I saw the whole play.
Charles Oakley on the line for the first time. 14 points, 16 rebounds, 3 steals. Charles Oakley, a player who has been very vocal following Knicks losses, lashing out at his teammates. After Game 7, he said Sunday might go down in history. If we don't get our act together, will be history. Oakley hits 1 out of 2, and the Knicks have a 5-point lead. Minute 45 gone by in the fourth. Kukoc guarded by Mason. So Davis has the assignment of Pippen, and Scottie Pippen backs him down. Jeff Crawford waving off and field goal attempt, and he's called a push on Davis. Second foul committed by Hubert Davis. Timeout is called. 9:56 remaining in the fourth. The Knicks have a 5-point lead.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Moment takes a look at the recent passing of the crown of the Eastern Conference. In 1988, the Pistons broke the Celtics string of 4 straight conference titles, went on to win 2 straight championships. The Bulls were eliminated from the playoffs by Detroit from 1988 through 1990 before they finally got past the Pistons in 1991. The Bulls have gone on to win 3 straight titles, defeating the Knicks in the playoffs each of the last 3 years. Will this be the breakthrough season for the New York Knicks, or will the Bulls advance to the conference finals? In recognition of that moment, Miller Genuine Draft donates $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Bill Cartwright with his first field goal of the game. The Knicks 70, the Bulls 67, with 9:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. And Riley staying with Greg Anthony, who has provided a spark along with Hubert Davis in the backcourt. Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing up front. Anthony doing it off the dribble.
Well, in previous games, Scottie Pippen has been able to force Greg Anthony to his right. His offhand, did that, but Anthony made a good spin to get to the basket.
Steve Kerr just told Tony Kukoc, settle down. Kukoc with a gamble pass that went astray.
Well, this Knicks defense has a way of making you do crazy things at the offensive end. Phil Jackson wants his team to match New York's frenzy defense with some frenzy of their own.
Ewing with the beautiful pass for Mason. The Knicks with the biggest lead of the game for either club. They're up by 7. 8:50 to go in the fourth. And a foul is called against the Knicks.
Pat Riley telling me before the game the one thing he wanted him to do, Patrick Ewing, was to not only look for his shot, but look to pass the ball more. Anticipate that double team, know where your spot ups are, and know where your cutter is. Patrick Ewing has done a terrific job of that today.
Oakley called for the foul. Tony Kukoc taking a seat on the Bulls bench. Scott Williams now up front along with Will Cartwright and Horace Grant. Grant not able to hit. Mason with the rebound. Knicks have a 3-on-2. Oakley from Mason gives it back. The reverse by Anthony draws the foul. And right now, the Knicks are cooking. It's their best spurt of the game. They've got the crowd going wild. The foul was called on Grant, and Anthony will shoot a pair.
And this kind of offense is generated from the tough defense that they're so used to playing in the fourth quarter. Another unusual picture. Anthony Mason running the middle on the break. He does handle the ball well, but how about Charles Oakley, who has played long, hard minutes and battled hard on both backboards, filling that lane and making the extra pass.
Greg Anthony coming up short in his first free throw attempt. The Knicks in the midst of a 15-4 run. Pete Myers, B.J. Armstrong check back in. The Knicks are 13 for 23 at the line, so they have been suffering there once again. Anthony connecting on 1 of 2. The Knicks 75 and the Bulls 67. Played by Ewing. Armstrong and the foot on the line. That's a 2-pointer for B.J. Armstrong. The Knicks lead by 6. 8 points for Armstrong. Pippen, the high man for Chicago, with 18. Oakley leading the Knicks with 15. Cartwright on the rebound. Anthony looking for the steal, hit the floor. Pippen for 3. Patrick Ewing has turned it in the second half. He was scoreless in 15 minutes in the first half following the early foul trouble. Ewing gets possession. Ewing, though, forced up high by Cartwright. Here is Davis. 8 points for Davis. The Knicks 77. The Bulls 69.
John Starks chopping off the bit on that bench. Would love to get into this ball game, but his ball club right now leading by 8 and playing very well both ends.
An 18-6 spurt by the Knicks for this 8-point lead. Armstrong lost the dribble. Played well by Anthony. Once again, the Knicks turning it on in the fourth quarter. Although in this instance, it has been a tight game. It has not been a come-from-behind situation. Shot clock at 4. Mason. Pippen rebound. 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go. In the fourth. Beautiful look away by Pippen. And the foul charged to Mason. And Myers and Ewing are having words. Now, we talked about this earlier in the series. Pete Myers, a one-time New York Knick. He and Patrick Ewing did not get along in their days in New York. And let's see how the officials handle this. Pete Myers, very upset, being told to head back to the Chicago bench. And the officials still chatting about it. We'll have the verdict when we come back after these words.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Nothing quenches that deep down body thirst better than Gatorade. By Nissan. It's time to expect more from a car. And by cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
Well, on the last Knicks possession, Patrick Ewing trying to free up Hubert Davis, setting a screen on Pete Myers, who just whacked him with a forearm and took Ewing to the floor. And at the end of this fast break, Ewing going to give a little shove to Pete Myers to let him know he did not appreciate it. It's going to result in a double technical.
Yes, the end result, the officials calling technicals on Myers and Ewing. So we have seen 4 technicals handed out today. Scottie Pippen getting one early. Phil Jackson hit, now Ewing and Myers. Horace Grant to the line. Chicago only 10 of 19 from the foul line. And Grant 3 of 4. He has 17 points in all, but the stat that stands out concerning Horace Grant, only 2 rebounds. For the most part, he has been outside.
Well, one reason he only has 2 defensive rebounds is his main job is keep Oakley off the board. He can't worry about going and getting the ball. His first job is get a body on Charles Oakley.
Knicks 77 and the Bulls 70 with 6.5 remaining on the floor. Oakley. Anthony backs to three-point territory. And a loose ball foul against the ball.
Well, the big problem for Grant is he has not kept Oakley off the board because he has 9 offensive rebounds, and now he's matched up with Anthony Mason. And on this long rebound, he's unable to get the job done, not for lack of effort. He just gets overpowered by Anthony Mason pushing Grant underneath the basket, but the foul goes against Harris.
Number 5 on Grant. Here's Davis. Oakley with the save. Mason looking for help. Shot clock at 7. Ewing hits a three-pointer off glass. The shot clock running down. Patrick Ewing turning things around in the second half. The Knicks by 10. 5:45 to go in the fourth. The Bulls off the lead, set it up to Grant. Rebound Ewing. For Oakley. And Grant gets to the rebound. Armstrong looking for the three-point shot is well covered. Here's Myers. Pete Myers with his first miss of the day. Hitting his 6 previous shots. Pippen for Myers. Rejected, but that will count. It's a goal count.
Well, Patrick Ewing set up way beyond the arc, just going to let this thing fly. There's still plenty of time on the shot clock. As you could see, 7 seconds, but I think Patrick thought it was less. He kisses it off the glass as Phil Jackson does not know what to make of that.
Oakley on the recovery. Mason. And the Knicks again, lead by 10. They outscored the Bulls 15-9. In this fourth quarter. 4:35 remaining. Cartwright around Ewing. Mason with the rebound. Mason stripped. Cartwright and Mason will jump it up. Oh, apparently Cartwright called for timeout before Mason got to the ball. He took the 20. Good play by Bill Cartwright.
I don't know how they heard him. He had his face down on the floor as he let the officials know as he picked up the ball. It looked like he banged his knee on that play as well.
We'll be back in a moment. Well, this one is far from over with 4:18 remaining in the fourth, but the Bulls have given basketball fans some great moments in recent years and hope to add to this. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan. question is, do the Bulls have enough to make it back here in the final minutes, trailing by 10? The three-time NBA champions with a great task ahead of them, and Scottie Pippen once again has not been able to do it, at least to this point. In the fourth quarter, it had been a very strong game for Pippen through three. We come up on 4 minutes to go in the fourth. The Knicks with an 82-72 lead. Here's Steve Kerr, and the rebound is handled by Patrick Ewing.
Well, normally a 10-point lead is not insurmountable with 4 minutes to go, but with these two teams playing, it's a very, very good lead. However, the Bulls have three-point capability out on the floor with Armstrong, Kerr, and Pippen. It is too early to start just flinging threes, however.
Neither club hitting the three-pointer today. The Bulls only 1 for 9 from downtown. Shot clock at 2, and Starks has to fire. Rebounded by Oakley. Charles Oakley with his 19th rebound. He had 24 in one game against the Nets in the earlier series. Conrad trying to knock the ball loose from Ewing. Pippen on the rebound. 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the fourth. Pippen all the way with a spectacular move. Scottie Pippen showing changes of pace in mid-stride and was able to hit.
Well, the open floor situation created with Armstrong out on the wing. Their Knicks defense very much aware of the three-point shooters, Armstrong and Kerr. That left the lane open for Pippen.
That lead is now 8. We're just under 3 minutes to go. In the fourth, Ewing with a drop step. It came up air. Here comes Kerr. Armstrong looking for the three. Met by Starks. Armstrong trying to do it off the dribble. Armstrong came up short. Starks in the open floor. Gets it to Anthony, who's fouled. Hit hard by Pippen. And it looked like Starks hurt his knee.
He got all tangled up on that fast break play. It wasn't very clean, but you see B.J. Armstrong in that corner. John Starks going out to him and left Pippen able to just blow by Greg Anthony. Scottie Pippen coming back with a great defensive play on Greg Anthony to block the shot, but got him with the body and got it hard to make sure it was not a three-point play situation.
Greg Anthony has been a smart for the Knicks, but has not done it at the line. He's 1 of 3 at the free throw line. The Bulls take a timeout with 2.5 minutes to go in the fourth. The Bulls trailing the Knicks by 8.
We're going over.
Next weekend, the NBA Conference Finals heat up on NBC. Next Saturday, the Pacers take on today's winner. Next Sunday, the Rockets battle the Jazz. And next Monday, a holiday special with Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Great NBA playoff action next Saturday, Sunday, and Monday at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on NBC.
With an 82-74 lead on the Bulls. Phil Jackson, one of only 9 to win an NBA championship as a player and a coach. He has guided the Bulls to 3 straight titles. A member of the Knicks' 1972-73 championship team. And the Bulls facing a very difficult task against this very tough defensive minded Knicks squad, down 83-74 with 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the fourth. Both teams have 2 full timeouts and a 20. Tony Kukoc back on the floor. Scottie Pippen with the post-up move. And it's deflected out by Pippen.
Well, a big key in this ballgame as Patrick Ewing picked up his second personal foul with 3 minutes to go. Had to sit out the whole first quarter, and then has been able to play the rest of this game with just 2 personal fouls. And when Phil Cartwright went to the bench, that's when Ewing and the Knicks started to take control of this ballgame.
Steve Myers trying to check in, but the substitution is waved off. Patrick Ewing with 18 points all in the second half. He also has 6 assists and 15 rebounds for the most part in the second half. Ewing hit a 3 earlier. At the time it was 2-point range, way off. Here comes Pippen. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the fourth. Pippen with a pass for Grant. Ewing with the rebound. The Knicks with the ball and a 9-point lead. A standing ovation here at the Garden. Minute 35 remaining. Starks for Anthony. Shot clock at 3. Anthony's attempt blocked by Armstrong. Kukoc for 3. Tony Kukoc hammers from downtown to bring the Bulls within 6. Only the second three-pointer for Chicago. A minute and 10 remaining. Fourth quarter. They double up on Ewing. Mason with the backdoor pass. Kicked out of bounds. It will be Nick Ball with 9 on the shot clock, and the Knicks want a 20-second timeout. A minute 6 remaining. There's still time for the Bulls to come back. But if they don't, we're seeing the end of a terrific era here in the NBA. Scottie Pippen, B.J. Armstrong, Horace Grant, Scott Williams, John Paxson, Bill Cartwright on this current roster have been members of all 3 championship teams. And we can look for a restructure of this squad. No matter what happens here, Scottie Pippen and B.J. Armstrong will be on this Chicago roster next season. Horace Grant, though, has made it clear that he wants to play elsewhere, as has Scott Williams. And the feeling is that this is it for both Bill Cartwright and John Paxson.
Still a lot of time for some things to happen here. Bulls could be looking to foul. The Knicks have not shot good free throws, particularly in this fourth period.
Foul is called off the inbounds. The Knicks are 7 of 15 from the line in the second half. Pippen called for his third, and Starks 2 for 4 from the line. Will shoot 2, and the Knicks are hearing it from this crowd. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final will take place next Tuesday, either here in New York or in Chicago. The Indiana Pacers waiting in the wings. The Knicks 84, the Bulls 77.
Pat Riley having John Starks on the floor at crunch time because he does shoot good free throws at 88%. He's a veteran. He handles the ball very well and an outstanding defensive player.
Minute 3 remaining. The Knicks lead by 8. The Bulls call for time. Well, in the first half, Patrick Ewing had to be wondering what is going on, but he has turned it up right at the start of the series. Patrick Ewing quoted in the New York Post saying, "We'll win it all," making, yes, a bold prediction. On the other hand, if you're asked who's going to win, you're not going to say anything else. But Patrick Ewing feeling a bit better about things in the second half. The Knicks lead 85-77. Steve Kerr forced into a difficult shot. It's rebounded by Ewing, his 17th rebound. And again, a standing ovation for the Knicks. Anthony dishes off to Mason. 35 seconds away from the Knicks dethroning the Chicago Bulls. 10-point lead for the Knicks. Oakley with 17 points. They're standing and cheering here at the Garden. That's Pippen for 3. Down to 20 seconds. And the ball goes back to the Bulls. It has been a wonderful run for the Chicago Bulls franchise this season, despite the loss of Michael Jordan. They finished the regular season at 55-27, the third seed in the Eastern Conference. They knock off the Cavaliers in the opening round of the playoffs. tough 7-game series against the New York Knicks, but it will be the New York Knicks going up against the Indiana Pacers. In the Eastern Conference Final, the Knicks have defeated the Bulls 87-77 to take the series in 7. And you see Patrick Ewing and Scottie Pippen congratulating Pippen with what appeared to be kind words for Ewing. Let's go to Ahmad, who is alongside Patrick Ewing.
All right, Marv. Patrick, I know that your goal is to win an NBA championship, but it had to feel nice to go through the Chicago Bulls finally.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. It feels very good. You know, everybody's been writing us off. You know, and I've been listening to all the people, you know, the commentators and everything. But we showed them that we're a better team. We came out when we had to and kicked butt. This is from my father. He told me that, you know, he didn't want me to want to see me home early this summer. So, Pops, this is for you and all the rest of y'all over there.
A lot of people thought you guys were going to come out tight, but you didn't.
Oh, no. You know, they kind of took a little bit out of me with the 2 fouls early. But I kept my composure, kept my head, and, you know, came back and tried to get the job done.
18 points, 17 rebounds. A fine job today, Patrick.
Thanks, babe. Appreciate that. Y'all, man.
All right, back to you, Marv.
Thank you, Ahmad. The Knicks over the Bulls in 7. It is on to face Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers, game 1 here at Madison Square Garden on Tuesday night. So the Knicks do finally advance past the Bulls, and the championship reign of the Bulls has come to a close. Again, the final score, the Knicks 87 and the Bulls 77 tonight here on NBC. Don't miss Masters of Illusion, the Wizards of Special Effects, and then the season finale of Sequest. For Matt Gukas and Ahmad Rashad, I'm Marv Albert. So long from Madison Square Garden. This has been the NBC.